All right, welcome everyone. I'm gonna go live right now. There's not gonna be videos to show you. There's not gonna be all kind of additional images to show you. I'm doing this on my own, and I didn't have time to prepare that for you, unfortunately. I'm also running today, after this, to maybe 4, 5 interviews on some big channels, doing my best to bring the voices of what's happening in the front line in Suwayda so people can know, because mainstream media is not covering this. And whenever mainstream media does cover what's happening, they're either bluntly lying or completely getting it wrong, which is very weird. Why? How come you could always trust what mainstream media to not report what's happening? Or I would say that again. How come can you always trust mainstream media to make the bad guys look good and the good guys look bad? They're saying basically that Israel is attacking the Druze village in Suweida. Israel's not attacking the Druze village in Suweida. Israel is attacking the jihadists and the Jawlani terrorist regime that is trying to slaughter and murder the people in Suweida. So anyway, just like I said, I'm going to be going to some channels later on several big Christian channels in the US, TBN and CBN, and also another channel that is predominantly the mega crowd, I think, in the US. And basically, any channel that will invite me right now to go and speak about the Druze in Syria and what's happening, I'll be there. I'll be there. We need to bring that up to the public so people can understand what is happening. So, for those of you who just joined, welcome. Guys, we're going to run right now and give you through everything that is happening from what I know in Suweida. To give you some context, my name is Mansour. I'm an Israeli Druze, former IDF Special Forces and an officer, and I have several very reliable contacts right now in El Suweida, in the Druze town of Syria. Some of them are in the front line, and some of them are back at home trying to protect their families and to take care of the village. And I'm keeping hearing things from them all the time. So I want to just make it clear so people can understand what is happening. The battle is far from being over. Yes, last night there was a few victories for the Druze. A lot of it thanks to Israel, who came and just launched their fighter jets and start bombing these tanks and these artilleries. But there's still tanks and artilleries around Suweida. In Suweida, there is Grad rocket launchers that are shooting Grad missiles, rockets, into Suweida. These are very, very heavy ammunition. One of them would land in your neighborhood, will flatten a few houses easily. And if you think in Israel, they have protected houses, fortified cement, mamadim. They don't have that in Suweida. They have very, very simple concrete buildings that are very easily demolished. So to run you through, last night was a victory for the Druze. They almost took Suweida. They were very close to conquer the city, but then the Druze pushed the final push, and Israel came with the fighter jets, and these jihadists got scattered and they ran away, and the Druze went and started, killing these invaders that came to their mountains, and they ran off. What is happening right now? The government is fleeing. They're running away. They're seeing that Israel is destroying their tanks, their weapons, their vehicles, and they know that if they stay there, they're going to lose it all, which is a win-win for Israel because you don't want these terrorists to have guns and weapons and tanks and artillery. Today it's against the Druze, tomorrow the Christians, and the day after it's the Jews. Rest assured, right now the Druze basically are being the border between Jawlani's forces and Israel. If they take them out, then they have a free connection to Israel, and as well forces coming from Iraq and from Iran can have a free route to reach all the way into Israel. That is the mountain of Suweida, and if you look at the map, I can't show you right now. I also don't know how to do these things. With this YouTube live, I'm still learning how these things work, but in general, that's how it works. What's happening right now, there was just, and I broadcasted that on my Instagram page. You can go and watch it. I broadcast an audio message that was sent by one official in the Jawlani regime, basically, that is telling the forces in the Jawlani regime and these jihadists, these factions, because they're all together on this, stop using your phone, stop recording what you're doing. Go and slaughter them, cut their throats, kill them, burn them alive. Just don't use your phone to record it. And he says, We need to learn from the mistakes of the past. Mistakes of the past is when they slaughtered the Alawites and the Christians and they air-streamed it. And then everybody watched it. And he's even saying there, you want to shave their beard, shave their beards, cut their throats, do all these things, just don't record it. And he added further instructions which help you understand the strategic implications of what's happening right now. Now that they saw that they're losing the fight because Israel is from the air just pummeling them down and Jews are pushing them out. So the new instruction was saying, beware, the Israeli Air Force is hunting us down. Don't go in big groups in the open. Go and park your cars inside neighborhoods and your vehicles in between houses. Jump into houses and use the Druze civilians as human shields in these houses. And then go and kill and then slaughter everyone. Don't leave anyone alive. So there is literally a clear directive calling for, I want to call it genocide, calling for an annihilation of the entire Druze population in Suwayda in Syria. And they're saying, don't share it because that hurts us. Don't put it in the videos because that hurts us, but do it. Go and do it. Go and kill them and use them as human shields. Like I said, you can go to my Instagram page and you can see that video that I shared there. It's probably, oh, the mic is here. I hope everybody heard me till now. It's probably a mistake that I did that I used my personal Instagram account. When all of this started, I probably should have used, a different account because it's just getting bombarded right now with all these videos and these images, and it was supposed to be my private Instagram account, my personal, but it is what it is. Right now, go and you can check there. I'm posting a lot of the videos and the stories. Another breaking news is we're seeing image of Israeli Druze jumping over the fence right now in the north and just running in their hundreds, and it's probably going to get into the thousands inside of Syria. They're running to join the fight over Suweida to rescue and save their brothers. That's one thing about the Druze that you need to see. It's a very unique, very loyal community in Israel. And when they see something wrong is happening, they act. They don't wait. They don't tweet. They act. They run and they jumped over the fence. The IDF is trying to stop them with tear gas and other stuff, but it's not working now. It's quite a controversial thing, because I was an officer in the army. I'm an Israeli citizen, and I know that it's very important to abide by the law and not take matters to your own hands. So I can't come and say I'm encouraging this. I would probably say more that I'm encouraging to let Israel do it officially and the way that they do it, and Israel is very good at that. But with that said and done, I don't think you can stop these young Druze, these men jumping there. They're seeing their families being slaughtered on October 7. No one really stopped anyone that ran into Be'eri, civilians that ran into Kfar Aza to go and rescue. Right now, as we're speaking, the jihadists have managed to take over the hospital in Suweida. It fell down and we lost contact with the people there. There was a lot of people sheltered there, including women and children. We fear for their fate. Reports are saying that they're moving house to house, just killing people. They're not even stopping to loot anymore the houses. I guess they understood that they're not going to come out alive of this endeavor. So they're lost the appetite to just get lamps, chandeliers, and money from the safe and all kind of devices. And they're just fixated on killing as much as they can civilians until they get killed, which is kind of reminding us of Nazi Germany again. During their final solution, when they saw they're about to lose, they started expediting as many Jews as they can kill before they're being stopped. Evil is the same evil, satanic, demonic, historical, ancient. It just wears a different mask. It comes one day as a Nazi and the next day it comes as a Muslim jihadist. And it's the same thing. They're doing the same thing. They're fixated on killing minorities. They're killing not only Druze, they're killing Christians. They're killing Alawites. From my sources on the ground in Syria, they have Christian men right and left, shoulder to shoulder, beside them fighting. They're already lost. Last I've checked, was about 6 Christian men have died defending their homes, defending the community. Bear in mind, a lot of these minorities fled into the Druze territory because they knew that the Muslims are going to come and try to kill them, Jolani and his goons. So they're under the protection of the Druze, and now that they're seeing that the Druze are going out to fight to protect them, they're going with them. Another thing that is very important to understand, and that's what I've got from the reports, Al Suwayda is very close right now. If things don't go differently, they might fall today. That's the last report that I got. Now, I do believe in these brave and strong Druze and Christian warriors that they're gonna give everything they can to hold their ground, but it's quite hard to fight with AK-47s and sniper rifles against tanks and artillery and drones. Qatar is sponsoring, apparently, that's what I heard from the Syrian sources. Again, what I'm telling you right now is based on what I'm getting from the Syrian sources on the ground in the front line and the back. They're being swarmed by drones that they believe that Qatar sponsored and gave the government of Jawlani, and the government of Jawlani is giving that to these jihadists, and they're flying over them, dropping grenades on them, dropping mortars on them, making it very hard for them to fight, while the Druze don't have any drones. They're literally outnumbered, outgunned, running out of supplies, food, water, ammunition. So the strategy right now, from what I've heard as of now, is that the official military of Syria is being crushed and targeted by Israel, and they're basically just taking them down and they're fleeing. But what the government is doing right now is they're leaving their soldiers wherever they can, and they start sponsoring and giving, arming these Muslim Bedouins in that area of Dar'a and around, giving them all their military weapon and sending them forward to go and just kill as much as they can until they die. And the strategy that they're using right now is they've taken something like 25% of the city of Suweida, and now they're trying to divide it into three parts. Basically, cut it like a cake and divide and conquer. And the strategy is just to move house by house, not to be in the open, and slaughter as many people as they can, and then move to the next house and to the next house. Like directly ethnic cleansing on steroids. That's what they're doing. They're saying, how can we ethnically cleanse anyone that is not Muslim like us here, and just go house by house, hide from the Air Force, from Israel, just go and slaughter men, women, and children. I've read this heartbreaking, and I'll read it for you, this heartbreaking message that was sent to one of my colleagues from a woman, a mother in El Suweida. Let me read that for you. And she basically said this: a mother from Suweida just called me, and I'm beyond shattered. Hearing her voice and the gunfire in the background. She's alone with her gun because her son went to fight, and she's telling me that terrorists and Bedouins with them are in her neighborhood, barging into people's houses and executing them without even robbing the house or anything, just killing them on the spot and moving to the next house. It's terrible here. Then she added, the National Hospital in Suweida has fallen too. I put in my thumbnail, that's the image that we got also from that hospital. So there is mothers, there's little boys and girls that are left alone. A father would come to his son and would tell him, son, today you became a man. And he will give him a shotgun and tell him, your father is going to go fight in the war. He'll probably lie to him, telling him, I'll be back, which is the hardest thing as a father, to lie to your son and to tell him that you will be back when you know that the chances are very highly that you won't. But you're not going to leave him without hope. And then the father goes to the front, and the son is stayed with the words that he gave him and told him, don't let them take your family alive. That is what's happening there. Now, if you're a father, if you're a mother, just imagine you put yourself in that situation. And I'll tell you, welcome to the Middle East. Welcome to the Muslim side of the Middle East. That is how it is in that side of the world. That is how it is among these jihadists, these barbarians, these satanic, evil, death-loving entities that just want to go and kill and murder, even on the sake of their life. They don't care about their friends dying. They just want to kill as many as they can because they believe that this is religious. They believe that this is going to grant them a great place next to Allah. Well, let me tell you a secret, you cowardly bastards. You're going to end up going to hell and meeting 72 goat men, and you're going to be the virgin in hell. You're not going to meet any virgins in the sky, and anyone who's entering the Druze mountain is going to be buried in that Druze mountain. Israel is right now going again and intensifying the battles. The Minister of Defense of Israel made a clear statement that Israel is devoted to protect its Druze neighbors in Syria. Now let that sink in. Israel doesn't need to, not doesn't need, Israel shouldn't go into an enemy country and fight against the government in that country to protect the citizens of that country that are being slaughtered by the government. Israel have no need to do that. Israel is right now busy with other fronts. They're fighting on 7 fronts all their own. They don't need to go and look for more battle. They've been fighting for 600 days and running. They don't need to wear their soldiers and their pilots more and more to waste money, ammunition, supplies to go and rescue other minorities in the Middle East. But what's happening? Seems like Israel is the only one that is caring for minorities in the Middle East, that is caring for human rights in the Middle East. Israel goes to Iran, try to fight with, and maybe even topple the Iranian regime. America tell her, stop, ceasefire, stop. While they're going out, what does Israel do? Shoots a missile into the jail of these political asylum people. People are being tortured, the free people of Iran, in hope to free. Israel right now in Syria is telling Jawlani, we're not going to let you harm our Druze brothers and sisters. They're going inside and fighting. Show me one country in the world that is doing that. One. You won't show me. You won't find. Even America, and I love America, there's Christians being slaughtered and massacred in Sudan right now. Who's helping them? Show me Christian countries that are going to help their own Christian brothers. Israel is helping not the Jews. They're helping the Druze. It's a different religion. But they're going out of their way to go and help minorities against these savages. And it's time for Europe, for the US, for the Western world to wake up and realize who's the good guys and who's the bad guys and follow suit. Get your cow poop together, everyone, before it's too late. There is people right now in Europe, by the way, that are cheering when they're seeing what's happening with Syria. That are cheering when they're seeing their brothers and sisters going and slaughtering women and children. That's in Europe. Mark my words. I've seen these people. They're going cheering out of joy, and you've welcomed them into your country. So the situation in Syria, like I said, from the boots on the ground, from the sources that are right on the front line and the back line, they're fighting to prevent the city from falling into the hands of these jihadists and preventing them from dividing the city to 3 sections so they can go and ethnically cleanse all the city. But they're faced with a very, very serious dilemma, and some of them have been calling me and even asking advice. How should we do it? What should we do? We're very frustrated because what's happening, they've been divided to small factions of young men, soldiers, old sheikhs and mashaykhs, and everybody just grabbed a weapon and fighting in their neighborhoods and going around and giving them guerrilla warfare. It's their home area, their home field, so they know how to defend it. But what happened with these jihadists and the government, they're going around Suwayda and attacking villages that are on the flatland and going inside, raiding a whole village, murdering everyone in their prayer house, killing, beheading, slaughtering, burning them, raping women, everything that you've seen on October 7th, they're doing there in hope to drag the man in the mountain to get out of the mountain and go and try to rescue them. And then they can kill them in the open field. So the Druze right now, some of my sources have literally sent me messages telling we don't know what to do. They're killing our brothers and sisters in the flatland. Now, if we leave there, we abandon Suweida, Suweida will fall. But if we don't go there, we just leave them to die. And that's the dilemma that they're facing. Where can they go? They're trying to save as many as they can. They're trying to fight as bravely as they can. And that is the situation right now, which means, and Israel is doing a great job with the Air Force. With taking, I heard that even they targeted some key locations in Damascus, sending a message to that regime. And there was an Israeli government official that even put on the table, we should take down Jawlani. He is a terrorist. We should not leave him alive. He is a terrorist, undoubtedly. There's nothing so far in the track record of the resume of Jawlani that can make a point that he's not a terrorist. He was in Al-Qaeda. He was in ISIS. He started his own version of Al-Qaeda and ISIS. He kidnapped a country full of jihadists, and now his people are ethnically cleansing the country. So other than putting a suit, he have done nothing to prove otherwise. And the job, the responsibility of proving who you are is on you. And that's what the West need to understand when it comes to the Muslim world. Stop making excuse on their behalf. Let them prove to us that they mean no harm, that they come in peace, that their intention is peaceful, that they're not terrorists anymore, they're not jihadists, that they're not borderline Nazis. Let them show us that they're not, that the bestseller book in the Muslim world around the world, in many countries, is Mein Kampf. Let them show us that their young children are not being raised in school to think that Hitler was a great guy. Let them do that. Stop making excuse for them. So some people put on the table even the suggestion to take down Jolani. I think if Israel choose to take down Jolani, it's going to be a very easy one, and he knows that. I mean, come on, Israel was able to go and basically flip on the ground the entire Iranian regime and take anyone there that they want as they want. They had phone calls of all their officers. They knew everyone everywhere. They took the top 30 and then they called the rest and told them, you're going to be next unless you leave, and I don't know, giving them all kind of stuff. So they knew everything about them. So if you think that Israel can't reach Jawlani, wake up and smell the hummus. I tell you what, when regimes get toppled, and in that chaos, when Assad fell down, that chaos, this is paradise for spionage organizations. That's your time to infiltrate your people. That's your time to recruit people. And that's your time to send your forces to be inside and to find ways. So later on, when things stabilize, you're in. And if you think that Mossad doesn't know these things, then they probably, Mossad basically wrote the textbook about these things. So if Mossad decide to take Jawlani, I'm pretty confident that he's going to be down. And I think the way it's looking, he have burned his cards to play the peaceful leader. The moment that convoys of tanks and artillery and Grad missiles started going south to the border with Israel in order to go and slaughter Druze minorities in their homes, in their villages, and meanwhile arming the jihadists who are going to help them slaughter them, I think Jawlani revealed his true identity. He took the mask off, and it's time for the world to wake up. We know who he is, and we know what is Syria. Syria, unfortunately, since Islam have taken it, have become an evil place. An evil place. All the Jews had to run away. Christians and Druze and other minorities there are living in heavy oppression and under the threat of death all the time. And every time the regime falls there, it's changed. It doesn't change. It stays evil. And let me tell you a secret. It's not just because of the evil leader. It's not only one evil leader and everybody's innocent. It's because of that people in Syria. Who do you think is attacking the Druze and the Christians in Syria? Not the government alone. The people. Now, who do you think the government is made of? The people. So that helps you understand Syria is still an evil regime, only it's an evil regime unleashed right now and became the Mad Max of jihadists. That's what changed. They don't have a dictator right now that is oppressing everyone equally. They have a dictator now that is empowering everyone just to go and do havoc all around and ethnically cleanse. And meanwhile, hoping to fool the West that they are partners for the Abraham Accord, just buying more time for their plan, for their final solution, Sunnah style plan. And that's what they're doing. And that is very, very important to please help understand that. And I'm going to ask you people, mainstream media is not only not recording and not covering the events happening in Syria. Whenever they do cover, they're actually lying. I've seen reports. Yon made a great video about that in his Instagram page. Go follow Yon, check him out. He's a great Jewish Israeli friend of mine. And he shows there that the reports are saying that Israel have attacked a Druze village in Syria. Israel have attacked a Druze village in Syria? What happened for the last 48 hours when all the jihadists were going and attacking that Druze village in Syria and killing, brought tanks and artillery? Why didn't you report then? So when Israel comes with airplanes and attack the tanks and the artillery that are shelling civilians, they go and they put a big title, Israel have attacked the Druze village in Syria. Or they will make report of clashes are happening right now between the government and the Druze terrorists or renegades. So fool me once, fool me twice. But I think it's been quite obvious that Western media is heavily compromised. Always, almost always, making the bad guys look good, making the good guys look bad, and distorting the real image of what's happening. And that's why I'm asking you here, help us share these videos. Help us share this voice. And if you have contact in any news stations, all the way from Piers Morgan to CNN to Fox News to I don't know what, to 2CTV, one of these big platforms, have them contact us. We want to go and speak with them. We want to bring that voice out because the mainstream media is not. And if we, the people, don't bring it up, they're just going to hush it down, hush it down. There's an interest there to keep hushing it down. By the way, this entire attack actually came after a member in the US government came and said that the US is normalizing its relationship with Syria and seeing it as a stable regime, and that Syria might even enter the Abrahamic Accord. And they were so happy because they thought they're gonna, bring some kind of a Nobel Prize peace reward. When that statement came, shortly after the attack of the government against the minorities came out. So what happened is they basically felt that it worked, guys. We fooled Macron. He gave us a hug, did some cocaine with Jolani. We fooled Trump. He went and shook his hand. We fooled him the West. Saudi Arabia is now backing us up because Sunnah together, they have some kind of similar interest maybe. And now America is behind us. Even Israel is starting to think like, wow, can they really be partners for peace? And in that deception, they went and they sent their army to ethnically cleanse minorities, and they're killing women and children. We've seen the videos of them shaving the beards of sheikhs, of religious leaders. Humiliation that we've seen only in Nazi Germany or Hamas in Palestine. We've seen them rejoicing and desecrating bodies. I've seen images of a Drew's mother sitting on the floor with her mother and her daughters, all dead in the street next to her. So they probably killed them all, just left her to mourn. What's happening there is beyond imagination, and it's literally an ethnic cleansing, jihadist, Muslim style, and again, the world stays silent. And it's very frustrating. Someone is asking here, I'm going to start answering questions here. Dan Suweida, good to see you here, brother. Have the Druze freed Suweida for now? No. So the Druze haven't managed to free completely Suweida. They have managed to stop the main assault yesterday and to achieve several big victories of ambushing their forces in their streets and killing jihadists in the dozens. And Israel with their airplanes came and took down, but there's still tanks, there's still artillery, there's still Grad missiles that are aimed in Syria. And right now, the directive that was given to the Syrian regime soldiers, the official government soldiers, and the jihadists is to stop filming the shaving of the beards, stop filming the executions, but do it. He says, shave their beards, execute them, behead them, cut the throats, kill them, go inside houses, annihilate everyone, just stop filming it. And another directive that came, which is a more strategic directive, and you can see that on my Instagram, like I said, there's a voice recording that I translated for you into English and to Hebrew so you can read what's happening. He's saying there that Israeli Air Force is hunting us down. Stop gathering in the open in large numbers. Go and hide. Park your armored vehicles and tanks in between houses and small alleyways. So if they shoot you, they shoot, anyone around you. And also enter into houses and use the people in the house as human shields. Same old tactic that every basically Muslim jihadists in the Middle East have been using for a long time because they don't care about human life. So right now, that's what they're doing. And the last report that I got from the people on the ground in Syria, in the front lines and in the back, that the government and their jihadist Bedouin militias are right now working on dividing Suweida into 3 sections so they can go in each section, separate them so they can't move from one another and help one another, capturing key locations to stop them from moving in these streets, putting a tank there and dushka, I don't know what, and people snipers on the roofs, and preventing people from moving from areas to areas, and then focusing on each neighborhood and ethnically cleansing it and moving to the next one and doing it simultaneously, actually. So what we're hearing from the people there, that right now they're moving from house to house and they're not even stopping to loot anymore. They just go in, kill everyone in the house, burn the house, jump to the next one. All hidden from the Israeli Air Force. And if you saw the videos in Israel, that is why you're seeing the Druze, men and women, actually it's only men, breaking the fence in Israel and running into Syria in their hundreds, probably soon in their thousands. There is a reason that they did that now. They didn't do that before. The reason they did that now is because they saw that the tactic have changed and that the bombardment of the Israeli Air Force is not enough right now. It's not enough unless Israel upscale the assault in Syria and possibly even take Jolani and start taking people in Damascus. Unless Israel really bring it up a notch, they're going to ethnically cleanse Suweida. And that's what they're doing. That's why a lot of Israeli Druze are running over the fence and just running there, because they know we're not going to let that happen. And unless the IDF goes inside by foot, which is a big, big thing to ask. Should Israel risk its own soldiers for that? We the Druze, we don't want to perceive as ungrateful. We're extremely grateful. Forget about that. I'm an Israeli Druze. I'm an Israeli, but I'm talking the Druze worldwide, extremely grateful for what Israel is doing. But to expect them right now to go and risk their own soldiers to save people in an enemy country, citizens of an enemy country that are being slaughtered by their own government, that's a big go. And I think the Druze also, they know that. So what they did, they just jumped over the fence and they start running there. They want to go and fight in the streets and help save these people. Let me try to answer some questions here. I don't know how this chat works. Okay. I've seen some, okay. As an American, oh my God, as an American Jew, what can I do to help? Abraham Mihri is asking that. As an American in general, an American Jew, first of all, I want to thank all of my Jewish brothers and sisters all around the world, my Christian brothers and sisters, and anyone that has been standing with us, thank you. As an American, you can help by actually sharing this content in the circles that you have. I just feel that a lot of Americans don't even know what a Druze is, don't even know what's happening in the Middle East. All they know is that the Palestinians are poor, that children are being killed by the IDF, and that Israel is bad. So it's important that we start flooding the real. We don't need to make up stuff. We just need to put a camera on the Middle East and have them see what is happening here. They're slaughtering elderly people in their prayer house. They're raping women, burning people alive, shaving their beards, Holocaust style, humiliating them, rejoicing over their bodies. So help share this content for your people. I'm going to go right now on some of the answers here and try to answer some of the questions that were asked here. Okay. Have the Druze freed Suweida? I just answered that. They haven't freed it yet. They're still fighting for it. If there's other questions here that you want to ask, guys, Abraham Mehri, as an American Jew, what can I do to help? I tell you what people can do to help, actually. And that's something that came to my mind the other day, and I spoke with other Druze friends from Syria and the US, and we all agree. I think the West and Israel, but not only Israel, I think the West should demand that a humanitarian corridor is opened from Israel all the way to Suwayda. Funny enough, Suwayda have a border with Jordan, but they don't want to open the border. Again, Muslim countries in the Middle East, they see other people being slaughtered across the border. They don't want to do anything to help. Nothing. They actually reinforce the borders to make sure that no one run to them. Then let them slaughter one another. That is a mentality in the Middle East among the Muslim nations. Let them slaughter one another. We're not going to help. No one wants the Gazans. No one wants the Druze right now to go to them. So I think we should demand that a humanitarian corridor is open between, if this is Israel here, the screen is kind of sideways, but if this is Israel here, and this is Suweida here, and the Bedouin lands is in between, they need to open a humanitarian corridor that would lead all the way to Suweida. And with that corridor, that we will be able to bring medical supplies, equipment, ammunition, if needed, food, Starlink devices, so they have internet. They don't have access to internet because the government shuts down the internet on them. Trainings, all kind of stuff that we can bring them that they can use for self-defense. I think that is probably one of the most crucial things to do right now before we move into other grand adventures and plans with what's happening in Suweida. Because right now, like I said, they're being sieged for a very long time and they can't go out. They can't get out of there. They're trying to get their families to flee out of there to safety. And even them, some of them are being intercepted in the way. Some of them are being kidnapped as they're fleeing to slaughter the family and then take the daughters as sex slaves. Welcome to Syria. Someone wrote, Daniel, you can have an impact. A simple like can go a long way, helping the stream reach more people and let the truth out. Don't stay passive. Like the stream, support good against evil. I never thought that I'll be one of these guys saying that. Please like, subscribe, leave a comment. For in general, for me, YouTube, for the majority of my life, I didn't have an account. I opened my all of my social media accounts I opened after I left the army at a later age. So I was very new to everything, even in email. And YouTube was for me, for the majority of my life, just this platform that I can listen to music on. I'll just play some Nothing Else Matters from Metallica, I don't know what, and listen to it while I'm driving. And later on, I started using YouTube as, my main platform. It actually became my job, what I'm doing here. I'm all day making you videos, so it became my full-time job, if you want me to say. And I'm realizing right now how important it is for small channels like mine, when people share this channel, when people watch it for a long time, it shows the algorithm in YouTube that there's an interest in this voice, in this content creator, and that helps push it to more people. Now, I'm saying that because if you want to help right now, help push these streams. Go to your favorite creators, not only me. Play their videos, share their videos, leave comments. Shows engagement to help push that video, because what happens is the other side is doing the same and they're winning. They just have the numbers and they have the discipline and they do what they're told. Let's see more questions. Thank you, Ainora. Thank you so much for what you're doing, by the way. And if you can help, flag some questions so I can read them and answer them, I would appreciate it. I see you're doing that already. Do you know if there is a communication between the Druze and the IDF so that we know where to strike? Let's just say that there is several directive sources that are helping them. So whoever spots a location where these jihadists are hiding stashed weapons, means of destruction, artillery, silos, tanks, flag it out, and the people who need to know will find it. Flag it out, send it to people, and they will find where it is, and they will know how to direct it. And in general, the IDF controls the sky there, and they are very good at finding these things, but still, you can help flag it out. Someone here asked, now, one thing I know that some of the Druze in Syria have been sending me some frustration sometimes, because from their window or hiding in their house, they can hear 30 jihadists and a tank running in the streets, and they expect that Israel will immediately shoot them down. And I try to explain to them that this is not how it works in warfare. It's not like there's a Druze guy sitting with a tablet and he's playing Command and Conquer, some computer games, and he sees a spot, he clicks it, and later on an airplane comes and drops on that spot. The army doesn't operate that way. The army itself, when it's going to war against enemies that it's already prepared to, it will send ghost units like Shaldag and others to go behind enemy lines and to track the target, laser the target with special equipment, and then the airplane will actually know that this is a trained operator that knows to differentiate between enemy and foe, know to differentiate where is civilians and not civilians, if there's children around, I don't know what's the damage that could be done. And now the pilot can trust him to shoot that missile in that target. But even then, the pilot has the responsibility to come and say, no, I don't see all the information that I can have. I've heard this live during my time in my service, where the brigadier would literally see, I've seen it with my eyes on the screen. In Gaza, we saw about 16, 17 Hamas members running out there, ready to go and attack an Israeli outpost with explosive and RPGs, I don't know what. And he was yelling on the pilot on the phone, shoot them now. And the pilot insists, no, I can't, because I don't have all the information I need. And until you don't give me that, I can't do that, because the pilot knows what he sees from there is not what you see from here or on the screen. And that pilot insisting, he stood in front of a very high-ranking commander and told him, sorry, sir, I can't. And he was yelling at him. And the Shabak guy was next to me, was getting frustrated as well. And in the end, they managed to give the pilot what he needed to know that no civilian casualties will be hurt. And only then he launched that rocket and took these jihadists and sent them to hell to join their 72 goat demons. So that just shows you how Israel operates. So that's why it's not that easy to do these strikes spontaneously on the spot. Let's see which other questions. There are currently two, Gilad F is asking, there are currently two main factions among the Jews in Syria. One wants Israel international help, another do not. How should the Israeli navigate the situation? There are actually three factions, and I'll explain to that. It's a good question. So among the Jews, there were basically three leaders that played some kind of a Game of Thrones games. One was trying to appease the government, one was more the religious, and one was more the military, keeping them strong and capable to defend themselves. When everything happened after the Assad regime, these factions started to have conflict of interest. Some were saying, yeah, let's go and submit under Islam, under Sharia law. That's the way to survive, guys. Don't try to fight with these jihadists. They're going to spare, they're going to have mercy on us. We'll live as class C, D, Z citizens, but it's better than being slaughtered. And then there was the other one, which is the people of Hikmat al-Hijri, which is the more kind of strong leadership that is right now leading the battle of the Druze over Suwayda. He came and said, no, we are Syrian citizens, and we should demand that there will be proper democratic election in Syria, and that Syria would become a democracy that is serving its own people. And many Muslims agreed with him. They were just kept silent or were hushed because the jihadists didn't like that. And then they came and said, we need to assassinate this political figure and kill him. And for that, we need to disarm the Druze. So they tried to portray the Druze as a terrorist faction that need to be disarmed. Meanwhile, the terrorists actually that they have don't need to be disarmed. They're actually arming the terrorists, the Bedouins, clans, and etc. that are going and killing people. There's no argument that they're terrorists. Just see the videos. They're going shaving beards, killing people, shooting innocent children in the streets. So the government is arming them and trying to make it look like the Druze are the terrorists that need to be disarmed, which is a good reminder if there's anyone American watching this. What happened when the government tried to disarm the people? The people have no way to defend themselves. It's a very good example. Any American that is watching this right now, this is a clear picture. What would have happened to the Druze if they didn't have the means to defend themselves? So never think that your government is good and pure and there's nothing wrong they can do to you. People thought that in Nazi Germany. People maybe kind of thought that in Syria after that regime, and look what's happening right now. So in these splits of a faction, the majority of the Druze want to fight and want to have good relations with Israel. The majority. There is a few, which I call them the Judenrat of the Druze, that are trying to play for the help of the government. They're basically working in the government and trying to betray their own people and to get them to surrender. And during this fight, there was a fake announcement that came by some of these Druze and some of the radical jihadists in the streets of Suweida saying that Hikmat al-Hijri, the religious sheikh, you see, they shut the internet on them. They shut the communication, and then they broadcasted that he have called for the Druze to surrender the weapon peacefully so the government can come and take control of the situation and save everyone. And some Druze fell for that. And what happened to them? They got slaughtered. But the majority knew not to fall for that, and they keep fighting. So that kind of gives you an understanding of what's happening there. Let's see, what else do we have here? Maybe try going on Yasmin Muhammad podcast. If there's a way to contact her, anyone maybe know? Yes, please. That would be great. I spoke to her several times. That's a good idea. Maybe I'll try to reach her as well. Any podcast that will try to get me to go there, I will go. I have a meeting in another podcast in about 30 minutes consecutive. I'm going to go to one podcast with an American channel. It's called, how is it called? It's something that is aimed for the mega crowd in the US mostly. And it's called Securing America by Frank Gaffney. I'm going to go to his show soon. Then after that, I'm going to go to TBN. That's the largest Christian Israeli, basically news channel out there. And then I'm going for another one. I already forgot which one is that. And then I'm going to go and speak on the radio. So and then Khalifa and me are, that's the one I forgot. Me and Khalifa are going to interview the deputy spokesman of the Knesset. So the second in command in the Israeli Knesset, we're going to interview him and talk to him about what's happening with Israel and the policy and what they're thinking about the Jews. His name, I'll tell you, his name is, that's the guy. Chanoch Mild Whiskey. I just read that in the other direction. Deputy Speaker of the Knesset. So then we're going to have a podcast with him. I'll try to push for it to be in English so you can understand, but that will be an official, Knesset member, a leader in the Knesset. We're going to try to see what is the idea that they're thinking. So is everything scheduled for today, Nora? In the evening? No, I still have spots in the evening. I think after that, I have another news from, it's the biggest Jewish audio radio station in Africa, from South Africa. I'm going to go on them. And then let's say after 6 o'clock, wow, I don't know when I'm going to have time to have dinner with my kid even. After 6 o'clock, I'm free. So if anyone knows any channel that I can jump on, I'm trying to reach Piers Morgan right now. I think you haven't spoke a single thing about the Druze, and I think it'd be a good chance to maybe introduce the Druze right now with what's happening. That's a very good time to remind the world that there is a group of people called the Druze, and that they are ethnically being cleansed in places like Syria, and that the only place that they're actually safe is Israel. How would the pro-Palestine movement deal with that fact? Knesset, yes, he speaks English. I'll try to do English. Bumping message, Khalid Jamal. We are a group of 100 Druze currently residing in Europe. We ask for your support, facilitate our entry into the region so that we can stand by our people. Some people, no name, asked, I've seen people blame Jews and Mossad for suicide bombing in Syria. What would you say to them? I would say next. What's your next question? It's like the silly claim, but I'll answer that. I'm not saying that your question is silly. I'm saying what they're saying. It seems like in the West, there's some bizarre fixation in defending Islam. And they would literally go head over heels to blame anyone rather than blame the Muslims. And they will suicide bombing. They'll go and bomb a church, kill people, and they will chant Allah Akbar. And then the government will support them, and they'll blame Israel for that. They'll blame the Mossad for that. And they just love to do that. Now, with that said, does spy agencies meddle and mingle around the enemies, trying to create some confusion, try to get forces to fight one another rather than fight them, and trying to advance, their strategy for the safety of their country? Yes, CIA does that, Mossad does that, every spy agency does that. That's literally their job. They're not the guard in the Shin Gimel, in the gate. Job is to protect the gate of the base. Their job is to be behind enemy lines and to help secure the interests of that country. With that said, it doesn't mean that they are the ones to blame, that jihadists want to go and kill anyone that is not Muslim. If you want to blame something, go to their book, go to the Quran. They're teaching their imams. Mostly their imams are teaching that, and people in the street. So you watch the video. I've shared that also in my story over Jawlani when he was interviewed by, I think, an American journalist, and he asked him, how did he feel on 9/11? I think Jawlani was having a come to Jesus moment there for some reason, and he decided to be honest. And he says, honestly speaking, ask anyone in the Muslim world, we all rejoiced. So would you blame the Mossad or the CIA that the whole Muslim world rejoiced when they saw airplanes crashing in the Trade Center, the Twin Towers, and thousands of Americans being killed? Or when you saw a lot of people in the Muslim world rejoice when they saw Hamas enter Israel and slaughter people? Or when a lot of them are rejoicing right now when they're seeing Muslims going in Syria and massacring Christians and Druze? That would be very silly to blame the Mossad for that. Very silly. It's not even childish. It's actually evil, because they know you can't really blame the Mossad, but they know that some people will fall for it. Some empty-headed, dimwit, woke, right and left in the U.S. that are fixated with, that have tinfoil, hats on their heads and are fixated with conspiracy theories, and then they will jump and say, yeah, it's all the Mossad, it's all the Jews, along with Tucker Carlson and that very disturbing human being. What's her name? She's like a sorority cheerleader girl that somehow have a lot. Candace Owens. Low IQ, a lot of charisma, and just using her voice to go and attack the Jews everywhere she goes. So yeah, people like that. Let's see if there's more questions, guys. In America, and Give Me Jesus says, everyone knows the dictator is a terrorist wearing a dress Oops, wearing a suit. Yeah. I will never forget when Piers Morgan, Enoch saying that, when Piers Morgan got expelled from the US for going anti-Second Amendment on live TV. I didn't know he got expelled. All right. So again, guys, I'm gonna, unless there's more questions, and I know maybe you can flag them out, but if there isn't, thank you so much again for anyone that is coming here, for anyone, I don't know where the camera is. Thank you so much for anyone that is coming here, for anyone that is supporting this channel, that is supporting the voice of the Jews in Syria. Our brothers and sisters are still fighting in the streets. They're fighting for the survival of the Druze mountain in Syria. They're being hunted, massacred, and slaughtered by the government and by the jihadists in their streets. As we're talking, they're shaving their beards, beheading their heads, burning their bodies, kidnapping their daughters, moving house to house. This is an October 7th scale invasion over the Syrian Druze community, and if it's not stopped or intervened, we will have here thousands, if not tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of bodies. That's what we'll have. They will not. They're literally going house to house, exterminating, killing everyone in the house, not even stopping to loot the house anymore. They were looting in the beginning, not anymore. They're so fixated right now before Israel and America intervene to kill as many innocent people as they can in the most horrific way. It gives them joy, it gives them pleasure. That's the kind of people that we have in Syria, the government and the jihadist groups with them. And by the way, that's the kind of people that you have also in America and in Europe. When you see people that are supporting the Syrian regime, that's exactly what it's supporting. And I won't be surprised if they also support Hitler. So stay safe, everyone. Thank you so much. And stay tuned and go and check the other videos that I'm going to be interviewed if you want to hear more. I probably need to rest my head a little bit before I go and jump on them back to back. So God bless, guys. And please keep praying for the Druze. I have family there that I haven't, since the last invasion, I haven't been able to reach them. He didn't even show the check mark of reading my message, which is very concerning. Still not. He had fighting outside of his house. Last time he sent me a message, and he was in his house with his mother and father and sisters, and he was, he said that they might reach his house. So I don't know if he's safe. I really hope he's safe. So pray for the Druze, guys. Pray for the people right now, and for the Christians, for all the minorities in Syria. Someone wrote a question here. I think people just don't know about the massacre in Syria. If you get to Pierce, let him also know about the Alawite. Absolutely. Absolutely. I'll tell him about everything. Alawite, Christians, Druze. And that Jolani and his government doesn't hold anyone accountable. Gilad F, thank you. Yes, definitely. All right. Thank you so much, guys. Stay safe. God bless.